Hello friends, let's do a get ready with me because I have not done one in a very long time. Thought I'd chit chat about my life, although not much has been updated. And also I want to talk about perhaps some Halloween / scary movies because it's my favorite time of year. Anyway, I'm going to start with the Wet n Wild Glass Cracked Primer. Also, this has become, I think once I run out of this, I'm gonna buy a new one because this has become just my absolute new favorite primer. I feel like running low. I want to get the green one, but it's just like, it makes every base product look so good on top of it, and it's so affordable. It's honestly amazing. Then I'm going to use the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation for foundation. This is probably going to be a little bit too pale, but that's okay. Well, it probably will match my neck. My face is a little bit darker because I work in, like, not technically outside in the sun, but I work in a greenhouse, so, my camera is not, I'm not centered, okay, but I work in the greenhouse, so I'm exposed to the sun. Like, the windows aren't, like, canceling out any UV rays, because obviously the plants and stuff need them, but anyway, my face is just a little bit tan, for me. 2 months, almost 2 months in, is still going well, so I'm happy about that, honestly. It's just been a little bit busy. Some life stuff has happened, and also I lost my battery charger for my camera. Literally no idea where it went. I've searched my house, my apartment, from top to bottom. I cannot find it. I don't want to buy a new one because I feel like it's obviously somewhere in here. I did not take it outside anywhere, but I cannot find it. Anyway, and I feel like filming, I don't know, I just still haven't gotten into a solid filming and editing routine yet because my days vary so much with, like, depending on traffic and stuff, and then some things just fucking keep coming up and then I can't get my schedule set down. Anyway, and all I want to do is film and upload on a consistent fucking schedule, and life is not letting me have it. And also, I feel like I might, depending on how much time, I'm gonna do my brows, by the way, just taking some soap. Depending on how much time I have after I film this, I kind of want to do a video talking about, like, honestly, the new makeup releases and new palettes that have launched even just within October, because I feel like there are so many fucking palettes and I want them all. And it's like, how no one can fucking keep up with this. The Odin's Eye palettes I might honestly pre-order, like the holiday ones, but I didn't buy them initially because I'm like, it's too close to, it's too far away from Christmas. It's not Christmas time yet. And they're so Christmas themed. Like, I get it. Like, I guess some Halloween stuff started launching in August maybe, but even still, like, do it November 1st, but October, Halloween hasn't even happened yet. No. I mean, can you tell I'm not a Christmas fan? But I don't know. Christmas doesn't bring me warm, fuzzy feelings, but I do like the color stories of the palettes a lot. And I know a lot of people do like Christmas, but I'm not a Christmas person. Anyway, that's an entirely different discussion. Let me put some lip balm on. This is the Merit Lip Oil, like the clear one in Bel Air. Pretty sure this has gone bad already because it smells bad. But I keep using it. This is the problem with clean beauty brands. Things go bad so fast. priming my eyes using the NARS Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base as always. Oh fuck. I think I'm actually gonna have to use an eyeshadow for my eyebrows today because my eyebrow product is out. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of concealer on the inner parts of my eyes. This is the Maybelline Superstay Activewear Concealer. My eyelid eczema is apparently back. Honestly, sometimes I feel like it gets worse when I don't wear makeup. Swear to God. For my eyebrows, I'm going to take this random makeup designery shade, single in the shade, drop it, the shade Taupe. I used to use this as my eyebrow shade in high school, which is why it has pan, because that's how I used it. Anyway, I'm just going to fill my brows in. I haven't done this using brow powder in so long. That's that. I feel like that doesn't look so bad, but honestly, we'll see when I go to edit it. Now I'm going to, I guess I'll zoom in a little bit. I also want to kind of do something. I'm going to use the ColourPop Darth Vader palette. I want to do something a little bit Halloween-y in spirit of this video. I'm going to take the shade Dark Side. I'm going to do a halo eye. So I'm just going to stamp this on my inner and outer corners. This is basically a black, isn't it? Anyway, that's fine. Let's see. Let's just talk about, I can't remember what I was just talking about. Let's talk about some Halloween movies, some scary movies. If you, because this is gonna go up like right before Halloween, so if you're want to watch some scary movies before Halloween, I've talked about this before, love horror movies. They are my favorite genre. I'm always in the mood for horror movies. I've been watching horror movies for a long time. And I feel like I've watched a lot of bad ones and good ones as well, but I feel like recommendations with horror movies could perhaps be helpful because there's a lot of bad mixed in with some gems hidden in there, you know? Like, I feel like more than any other genre, there's some bad apples in horror for sure. Now I'm going to take the shade Sith Lord. Oops, excuse that. Okay, I'll first start out with found footage in terms of recommendations. I feel like I find myself saying a lot like, oh, found footage isn't my favorite genre of horror, but I have a lot of found footage favorites when I actually think about it. And I feel like when they're bad, they're like quite bad, but when they're good, they're really good. My number one top recommendation, well, one of my number ones for sure is Grave Encounters. I've loved it forever. It's kind of basically like a ripoff of Ghost Adventures, if you've ever watched that show with Zach Bagans. It's like actually quite a good like spoof of it, but basically, yeah, they like go to this like abandoned asylum to like make the show, and then like shit starts happening. Like the premise of the show is that they like lock themselves overnight in like haunted places, and it's just so good. The scares are so good. It's like cheesy, but not too cheesy. There's not too many jump scares. There are some, like, I don't love jump scares. I want to be like really scared. I want follow through, and it really has it. And the sequel as well, Grave Encounters 2, is just as good, which is hard to find, honestly. Another haunted like asylum movie is Gonjam Haunted Asylum. It's a Korean movie. Again, super good. If I remember correctly, it's basically like a group of teenagers or something are trying to like live stream going into this asylum, and then shit goes down. I mean, Asian horror has been doing it right forever, and so many even like Grave Encounters-esque visuals and scares are like like inspired or like taken from Asian horror movies. So like honestly, Asian horror movies across the board are amazing. And then I'm gonna blend this out with the shade Imperial Forces. But yeah, those are amazing. Another one, this is a new find from last year, but I was blown away by how much I loved it. And I think I watched the second one as well, and it was also good. Hell House LLC, Chef's fucking kiss. It's so scary and so good. I really want to watch it again this year. It was like, it takes honestly, and I'm not saying it to be like, but it takes a lot for me to be scared, just because also I'm like, not desensitized, but I'm used to a lot of like the visuals and stuff. Like, I've watched a lot of horror movies, you know, like I feel like I can predict a lot and I've seen a lot. Anyway, this one really scared me. So if you're looking for a scary one, this is fucking it. Basically, again, the premise is this group of like young adults, I guess, like a group of friends, want to start a like haunted attraction, like haunted house basically, in this like old restaurant. Like they're redoing this like not abandoned, but you know, like rundown restaurant that's like for rent or for sale, and they're trying to turn it into like a haunt or an attraction, and they call it Hell House. And then they're like filming all this stuff, and then, you know, the cameras capture everything that happens, and like just true scares. I don't want to give anything away, but it's creepy as all hell. And if you're looking for like a scary movie, highly recommend. Again, I'm pretty sure I watched the second one as well, and that was also super good. And again, like the things that I don't like from found footage is like, I hate it when the camera is like super shaky, and then it makes you like feel nauseous, and like it just is like really bad. I hate when that happens. I feel like Grave Encounters has a little bit of that, but it eventually like gets better towards the end. But all of the movies that I'm recommending don't really have that much. There's not like a lot of cheap scares. Like if there's a jump scare, there's follow through. Like those are the kind of movies that I love. Another one that I don't really hear that many people talk about, I think it's super underrated. And if you remember the weird fucking creepy clown craze of like, I can't even remember when that was, 2015, maybe even earlier than that. Anyway, this will like bring you back to that time in like an insane way. But the movie The Houses October Build, kiss, like honestly, chef's fucking kiss. I went through a phase of watching, if you've ever heard of McCamey Manor, I'm sure a lot of you have. Honestly, warning, like trigger warning, if you don't, it's like kind of disturbing, so I wouldn't look it up unless you're like kind of okay with like unsettling shit. But basically this guy like runs a haunted house like in his backyard, but it's like supposed to be like an extreme. I'm gonna take a little bit of the shade Battle Station because I hate the way this looks right now. So anyway, just to help blend it a little bit. Actually, you know, I'm gonna take a little bit more Sith Lord and just try to blend these two together. I take it back. Anyway, what I was saying was, yeah, basically this guy like runs his own like haunt like haunted house kind of. It's like an extreme haunt. I can't remember what the actual like word for it is, or like what they really call it, but it's supposed to be like a real like interactive haunted house. You have to like sign these waivers. People like fucking duct tape you up and stuff. It's like honestly disturbing, and I don't know why anyone does it, and this guy's kind of like weirds me out. Anyway, that movie is kind of like the same, a similar thing to that. It's like these people documenting like trying to find the scariest haunt in the US. So like people make like their own haunted attractions, and they're trying to find the scariest one, and then like some fucked up shit goes down. But there's like lots of masks and like clown imagery, and it's really, again, it's on the scarier end. I feel like Grave Encounters is like, it's scary, but it's not like terrifying. Like even if you don't like horror movies, like you could probably watch it, be a little scared, and you'll be fine. But like The Houses of October, Build Hell House, LLC, they're a little bit more intense, honestly. I mean, like, I'd recommend them, but just be aware of your limit. Know your limit, stay within it. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I feel like I had another found footage one that I'm trying to think of that I can't remember right now. Speaking of found footage, though, I honestly, if you're wanting American Horror Story across the board, I mean, there are issues with it. I feel like how many men with dark hair and strong jawlines can Ryan Murphy cast in one season? But anyway, if you wanted to watch like a show, watch the Roanoke season of American Horror Story. That is found footage style, and that's like so good. And yeah, it's probably one of my favorite American Horror Story seasons, and obviously like they're anthologies, so you don't need to have watched any other season to like get it. It's just literally chef's kiss. It's so good, so underrated as well in my opinion. But anyway, that's another found footage one. Those are like my main found footage recommendations, if I remember correctly. Okay, and this is more of like, it's less horror and more like kind of like psychological thriller, but I feel like it is horrific. It's honestly really unsettling. It's not super gory, but like very unsettling, but one of the best made movies I've ever watched. It's the movie Creep. If you like psychological thrillers and stuff, it's a found footage kind of like psychological thriller, like horror movie, and it's so well done. I would also highly recommend that. It's so good. So those are like kind of the found footage genre. Oh, also, I believe that this is a Shudder original, like the horror streaming service Shudder. I had it briefly for a couple months last year, and I watched the movie Haunt on it. I'm pretty sure it's found footage as well. If you like, I don't know, have Shudder, it's more of like a specific recommendation, but if you have it and you were like haven't watched it yet, and I don't know, are looking for recommendations of something you haven't watched yet, that's also a really good one. It's a little bit more graphic. It's not quite as well done as the some of the other ones that I've talked about, but it's again really scary. Freak Me Out, which I always think is like a plus, you know, it can be difficult to do that, so kudos to them. Okay, I basically finished the top of my eyes. The last step that I'm going to do is just take the shade Torch from Cleona and just top this over the red. It's going to make it a little bit pinker, but that's okay. It's going to give it a little bit more shine and pizzazz. It might not be super obvious to the camera, but... Okay, taking some of this Maybelline concealer now. Try to make myself look a little bit more alive. And what else was okay, let me think. Oh, another major recommendation, again, for like, I feel like more fun movies that aren't, I guess it's pretty well known, but aren't like Paranormal Activity or something. Like, no shade against the Paranormal Activity movies, but I feel like there are better ones out there to watch. But honestly, if you haven't watched The Purge, specifically The Purge Anarchy or The Purge Election Year, the third Purge, The Purge Anarchy is my comfort movie. Like, no word of a lie, I love it so much. It's so good. And like, honestly, very unsettling, scary, and it's amazing. And kind of just like a more chill Halloween watch. If you're doing something with friends or you're just not super into like super scary horror. Also, Lights Out. So good. I don't think it's like so scary, but it's kind of like fun and I don't know, something a little bit different. I really, really like Lights Out a lot. And I don't watch a ton of like slasher movies. I'm just trying to think. I feel like I had some in my mind and then I've lost them all. Again, if anything comes to mind, I will put it in the description box or in a pinned comment, but they're not necessarily my cup of tea. I feel like I definitely prefer more like paranormal, like supernatural type movies, as opposed to like slasher movies. Actually, speaking of those, okay, I have some that are actually good. You're Next is really, really good. I think it's such a fun movie. Oh, another movie that I think it's like a little predictable, but really fun. Again, like, something a little bit different is the movie Cadaver. I loved it when I watched it. It's on Netflix. I think it's a Netflix original. Can't remember what language it's in. It's not in English, but so good. So, so good. I loved it. The movie Veronica is also good. I believe it's in Spanish. I know that like when it was coming out, everyone was saying like, oh my god, it's like the scariest movie ever. Kind of like, you know, when The Exorcist first came out and I'm still not in the middle. People were like throwing up or whatever. Like it was supposed to be like so scary. I feel like that's kind of the hype it got when it first came out, but I mean, I didn't think it was like so scary, but if you want a supernatural kind of like haunting movie, it is actually quite good. I would watch it again. And now I'm trying to think of more supernatural movies. Now I'm taking the Fenty Matchstick in Amber. This is almost out. And honestly, I feel like I could just fucking go on and on and on. But those, I feel like, are my top recommendations. I mean, The Cabin in the Woods is a classic. I also think it's such a well-done satire horror. Scream is still one of my absolute favorites. Oh, I love Scream. It's honestly one of my favorite movies. It's just so intelligent, so smart, so good. There's beautiful people in it, which also helps, but yeah. If you haven't watched Scream, it's a classic that I think really stands the test of time. And hopefully those were interesting. It's going to be a very specific, I guess I could say, subset of people maybe who were watching this, but it's like the one time of year that I feel like I can really spout my love of horror movies from the rooftops and give recommendations for anyone who maybe wants a new movie to watch or anything like that. And also, now I'm going to take my Tower 28 Bronzino bronzer in the shade Suncoast. Can't wait till this is finished. What was I saying? Oh, also, if you have any recommendations for me, please write them in the comments. I'm literally always looking for new horror movies to watch, not just this time of year, any time of year. And I, obviously have not watched them all, so leave your favorites, even if they're older ones. There's a chance I haven't seen them. I actually haven't watched a lot of classic horror. I don't know why, but yeah, anything and everything, let me know. Psychological thrillers, leave your recommendations for me. Here begs the question, what blush do I use? I want to keep my cheeks, I think, a little bit neutral, so I'm going to go in with my tried and true Fenty Cream Blush in the shade Rosé Latte. I just want something a little bit more neutral. And this is a little bit rosy on me, but it will, obviously get a little bit toned down with powder. And I will put, maybe a more bronzy blush over top. Or more neutral blush, so it's not I don't want it to draw too much attention. The eyes are obviously quite a lot. There's a lot going on. Powder time, going with the Maybelline Fit Me as always. And just baking in my T-zone. Then I'm going to take some Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder and brush this away. Setting my face with the Sephora Micro Smooth Multitasking Baked Face Powder. It's a long name. And then going back in with the Hourglass powder, just setting everything again. Because this will probably be forever my current panning bronzer, I'm going to take the NYX California Beamin bronzer. This is in the shade Free Spirit. And use this to bronze. And then take the e.l.f. Soothing Aloe Mist to spray my face. Sometimes I take this opportunity also as a time to lightly re-up my cream blush. For highlight, I'm going to take the ColourPop Super Shock Highlight in Flexitarian. I haven't used this in a while. I guess we're going to go all out for the highlight today. For blush, I'm actually going to take MAC Blush in Harmony, the MAC Blush in Harmony. I'm just going to take a light layer of this because it's not the best blush ever. If I'm not careful, it can look a little bit bruisey, but I do like it for a neutralizing kind of blush option that has browny, almost purpley undertones, so it's just gonna neutralize, I feel like, this. Okay. Oh, and before I forget, my lower lash line. Jeez Louise. I'm just gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna take the shade Dark Side and stamp this all underneath my eyes. Then taking Sith Lord and going basically over the top of that and blending it out. And then taking Imperial Forces and blending the edges of this out. And then I'm going to take Death Star and I Am the Master, so the black sparkly shade and the red, and just put those on the outer parts and the inner, in the center, respectively, of my lower lash line. Then to finish, I'm taking my brow gel, the Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt Gel Mascara in the shade Soft Brown, and Freck. Okay, and this is the finished look. I'm very into it. I feel like it specifically captures what I was trying to go for. On my lips, I have a little bit of Endless Cacao. I mean, literally, you can always assume that I have Endless Cacao on. Oops. Excuse that. And the NYX Liquid... oh my god. Liquid Lip Lingerie. You know what I'm talking about, in the shade Honeymoon. I just put this in the center of my lips and then like blended it out so it's not super intense. And then I have the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in Diamond Milk over the top, which I haven't used in a while. And every time I use the gloss bombs, I'm like, this is everything to me. Anyway, I have to cook my girlfriend rice because she's starving. And it's late, so I will leave.
Hey, tell people the truth. Tell people the
And I should have had the rice on already. So I gotta go.
What time do we eat supper?
We don't have to eat at a set time.
We're supposed to be eating by 7:30. Unless...
And what time is it?
It's 15 minutes, and I know that I'm not gonna be...
It could be done in 15 minutes. 100%. Anyway, bye.